pull those up. But yeah, let's get into some things. I'm going to go live on Instagram as well to see what audience we can kind of pull into here too. I wonder if I could do, let's see. Alright, let's see. Alright, so I gotta finish gathering up my photos first though. Let's see. Because I have to pick out the images I actually want to edit today. Of course, if you guys have any questions like last time, feel free to ask. I'd love to answer any photo video questions you guys might have. Alright, I think we're live on Instagram too. What's up, guys? Thank you for joining. I'm live on YouTube as well right now. If you guys check my story, you guys can see. Sorry for the blurry camera. It is a broken front cam on my actual cell phone. So, yeah, if you guys want to see the actual live stream right now, I am live on YouTube. If you guys go into my last story post, it's on there. This is just a quick thing to join my actual live on YouTube and Facebook. Alright, so let's go ahead and actually finish grabbing some of these images real quick that I'll be editing. Let's get the chat up too, so that way I don't miss anything. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. Let's see. Alright, so what do you guys want to see, I guess, portrait-wise or photo-wise editing? You want to see more portraits, or do you guys want to see landscapes? What do you guys want to see? Drop it below. Instagram as well. Anyone that's joined, I'm live on my YouTube and Facebook right now. If you guys just go into my actual story post, you guys can see I am live. And that way you guys can see what I'm working on and all that kind of stuff too. Alright, so I think I'm going to grab one of these images. I like these ones. Let's see. I think it's this one. How's everyone doing, by the way? Thank you for joining. Appreciate that. I am live on YouTube right now for the people on Instagram that want to see me and my edits. Feel free to join. If you guys go on my story post, you guys can actually see it. And yeah. What we're going to be doing is just editing some photos, and then also I might be reacting to some of my old music video projects too. That way you guys can kind of see my growth and kind of go on this journey with me, so that way if you guys have any questions, yeah, you guys can ask. Let's see. Alright, so it's 3 photos. Anyone's just joining on Instagram, I'm live on YouTube. If you guys want to come see, thank you guys. I'll be in this live stream here in a little bit. But then of course I'll still be live on Facebook and YouTube, so thank you guys for joining. I appreciate that. Just grabbing a couple of more photos. Let's see. If you guys have any preferences on what you guys want to see as far as photo edits go, like whether it be portraits or landscapes, feel free to let me know, and I can pull from those too. Alright, let's see. I think these ones might be decent ones to edit. We'll see. Yeah, let's grab one of these. Let's see. Alright. For those joining on Instagram, I'm live on my YouTube right now. If you guys just go into my stories, you guys can see the YouTube link, and then from there you guys can go check out to see what I'm actually doing right now. I'll be editing some photos live, and then also reacting some of my past stuff too. Let's see. Alright, almost done with my picks as well for what we're going to actually work on for this live. Let's see. Of course, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm going to actually end the live on Instagram, but yeah, if you guys catch me on YouTube, I'll be on there, okay? Alright. Discard. Alright. Let's see here. Alright. Let's grab some of these actually. Some dumb. That way you guys can see some night shots as well. I got some super cool night photos I can actually work on. I'm trying to see if I have these other ones. Photo proofs, finished. Those ones are already done. Let's grab one of these. No, probably not. Those just joining, I'm just looking for photos. How's everyone's night going, by the way? I'd love to hear how people's things are going. Let's see. Let's grab. Ooh, yeah, let's grab one of these ones. These ones are going to be good. Alright, this was a off-camera flash shoot, but I'll show you guys here in a second what I'm looking at here so that way you guys can see. But definitely some of my favorite images. I love these ones. If I can find the right one I'm looking for. There we go. So we'll grab that. Cool. Alright, and let's see, last one. These ones are fired. Let's grab this. Alright, cool. So I'll get you guys on my screen here so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let's see, let's import these first. Alright. And then once I get these pictures in, I'll flip the screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. And we'll edit some photos. If this will load, the thing is going so slow. Nice. There we go. Sorry guys, waiting for the slow ass computer to go. Trying to get these photos imported, but Lightroom's going insanely slow at the moment, so that's always fun, right? There we go. Let's see, local desktop. Let's see, here we go. Import. Alright, let's get this flipped. Alright, so you guys can see what I'm seeing. We have these images here. I'll probably actually go through and add a couple more as well, depending on how we go with the pace of this. But then we're going to go through a few different types of images. We have indoor studio, outdoor flash, nighttime shooting, indoor studio, and then outdoor flash in the daytime. So that way you guys can kind of see a huge variety of different types of images. And yeah, what we're working with. Which one, if anyone's in here, should we start with first? What do y'all want to see? Kind of want to do this. This is from a music video shoot a while back for J-Dub. Actually never even got to editing these images. I completely forgot about them actually. It's crazy. But I have these images here. We'll kind of go through this. I want to see what I can do with this image. So we're going to drop this down. If it'll go away. Can't even see because my phone's right here. There we go. Alright, so first things first, what I'm going to go ahead and actually do is the image is straight, however the fence is a little bit crooked, so you might actually worry about that later, and like as far as like trying to extend that or figure out how to make this even. That way, I don't know, I just don't like the crookedness of it all because of the horizon or whatever. Alright, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and actually do is change some of the colors. So the hue of the blues I'm not too much of a fan of, so we're going to come into here and push it more into that teal realm. Honestly, even before that, I gotta fix my white balance. It feels more on the pinkish side. So we're gonna come into here. We're gonna mess with this a little bit, not too much, but just a little bit to get this white balance correct. And then already we're making changes. This is with the blue hue shift, and then also like a little bit of a white balance shift. And already we're pushing craziness of the image. Let's see. Let's get it. Alright, and then also real quick, what I want to go ahead and actually do is we'll come into here, make a mask. We're going to go ahead and actually select the subject. And then from here, though, I'm going to actually, let me see, let's see. We're going to delete that. We're going to select the background, and it did pick up the front, so we're going to actually come into here. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and try to just create more separation between the background and him. I'm going to do this by creating a mask. I don't really want it to affect the bottom side here, so what we're going to go ahead and actually do is come into here, add, and then we're going to go ahead and actually add a brush. And actually, I need the opposite, so let's see. We'll delete this. Alright. So then we're going to go ahead and actually subtract, brush, there we go. And subtract all of this front area because we don't want this change to actually affect what's happening in the front because it's part of the subject. We want that to stand out as well. Let's see here. Alright. All that done, get back this. Alright, cool. So once that's done, we're going to go ahead and actually come into here in the mask, and we're going to drop the exposure a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but I do want that to pop more. Just doing that creates a lot of more separation, and then also I'm going to actually Take down the clarity a little bit. We'll go all the way, but no, I don't like it all the way because it looks a little bit too fake. But drop that clarity just a little bit to get more separation. Maybe throw on like a little dehaze. I want more of like a glowy effect, but that's a little bit too much, and I don't really like the clear aspect of it all. But we're going to drop it just a little bit. And then, yeah, from here we're going to go ahead and actually see what we can do with the hue to get that orange to where we want it to be. But I think it's honestly already kind of good. But even doing something like this is super tight. Hey, what's up, Jules? Thanks for coming in. Had to see how the magic happens. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you for stopping by. If you have any questions, now's a good time to ask as well. That way, hopefully, I can help with any kind of, yeah, different projects. Jeez. Let's see. Alright. So, yeah, we're not going to change that too much. We'll pop that back into the orange realm. Yeah, so not much of a change. Mess with the saturation. Just a touch. Alright, cool. So far, this is a little before and after. I do still want him to actually pop out more, so we're going to go ahead and actually do is create another mask. We're going to go ahead and actually select the subject now. Then from here, I'm going to up the contrast a bit. Up the exposures a little bit, but then obviously since he's in a white suit, we don't want to lose this as far as detail goes. We want to keep the detail in the shirt, but we'll worry about that in just a second here. And see if we can pull the highlights back. Take a little bit of that out now. And then also, let's see, up the shadows a bit, but we still want that contrast. But this is just our little adjustment, at least for the beginning. Then also what I'm going to actually do while we're in here is increase the clarity on him as well, just to give him that more pop from the background, and yeah, makes it look sharp, you know. Alright, so with that being done, let's go ahead and actually come in here. We're going to create a curve. This will be more of like an extra contrast bump. But then from here, also to help get our image in check, and then also while we're making these changes, we're looking over here at the histogram to make sure that we're not clipping any of this information, because at that point we would lose that. So we'll pop the shadows up a bit. And I do want that faded look, so we'll go ahead and give it a little push on the blacks. And find that balance, so that way it's not too contrasty, but adds a little bit of a look to it. There we go. Boom. Alright. Actually, I still think we'll pull this back just a little bit. I think he's popping out a little bit too much. So we're going to pull that contrast back a little bit. And with editing, it's all about fine taste. I try not to push things too much, but just put it in that realm with my lighting, and then from there they'll kind of push it into the realm. Let's see. Get this sharpening up. Alright, perfect. So we're going to get this, and then with this we're adding a sharpening mask to it as well. When we hold Alt and then move the actual arrow on this shows us what we're actually affecting. We don't want to add sharpening to the entire image, just like really the corners and the fine edges of the detail of the shot that's already in focus. Then from here we're going to go ahead and come into our color grading tab. In Lightroom, what I like to do with this is just helps me balance the image, gets it kind of where I want it to be as far as like my highlights and shadows go. Looking at it already, I'm looking at the white in here. It looks a little bit more green to me. So we're going to come into highlights and go ahead and take a little bit of saturation away from the greens and kind of push it more into this pink realm, just so that way we can try to get that super clean white in the actual jacket. There we go. So this is a little bit before and after. You can see, so with that, now it's a little more 2 on the pink side, but then you gotta get the picture as to how to balance those highlights. That way we can just make it look as natural as possible and as clean as possible without any kind of additional colors in it. So we'll bring that full screen. Okay, and then one thing I'm noticing now is just the reds. The reds aren't really where I want them to be. So we're going to come into here and we're going to go ahead and change the hue of our reds to get it to the actual shade of red I want. It's not off by far, but yeah, we're going to push that more from the pink into the reds. Let's see. No, it's still more pinkish. Let's see. And we don't want it to be too orange either. We want it to be like a nice red. Hey, what's up, Joey Sparks? Stuff from the video. Yeah, from this one's actually from the J-Dub Pressure video, but then this is actually a photo. Like, I actually took a few photos at night too. I mean, the video was actually pretty clean though. It came out kind of close to this. What time you going live tonight, man? I think I saw that you're going live for your 15,000. Congratulations, by the way. That's huge, man. That's awesome. Should be a fun live stream if you're doing a little 15K celebration, you know. Let's see. All right. Lens corrections, we'll go ahead and enable this. All this does is get the lens automatically selects it, and then from there though fixes the distortion and vignetting. There's not much on here, but there's definitely distortion, definitely vignetting, and then I will let the vignette kind of go away, but we'll kind of come into here and actually push in a different gradient as far as like a radio gradient to help kind of shape that light. Let's come into here, let's up the blue saturation just a little bit. We're going to push this to like plus 15-ish. Come in here and mess with this, but then we don't want to push this too much because it is affecting the skin tones. We don't want those to be too orange. Let's see in the reds, we'll pull that back a little bit. And then also change the hue of the reds. We're just really looking for that good red as far as the hat goes. I think that pushes us closer to that. Yeah, there we go. So it gets the skin tones a bit more correct, and it also brings that red out of the hat a little more in a different way. Now what I want to go ahead and actually do is just change the luminance of some of these values as far as like the reds and the colors go. I want a more crushed dark red. This also is affecting the shirt, or not the shirt, the skin tones as well, so we don't want to push this too much. Right, thank you, probably 20-ish minutes. Want to stop, check out you guys. Hey, I appreciate that, fam. I'll definitely be stopping by your live too, depending on how long you're in there. I should be off of this by like I think 8. So if you're still live, man, I'd love to see your thing as well. You know, just come stop by, say hey, what's up. Got to, you know. Let's see. Alright, and then honestly, looking at it too, I don't like lots of the side things as far as like the water bottle. I guess we could leave these on the side, but then, yeah, I think that's pretty much it as far as the actual edit I wanted to do on this image, a little before and after. Not much more I would change besides like coming into here. One thing I like to do is just create these, invert this selection, and then from here though we can go ahead and just darken it. And we don't push it too far, but this helps just kind of helps center the image and gets that eye drawn to our subject in the middle. Just helps really pull that eye. And yeah, that's the image for that one. I think that's as far as I'm going to take it for that. But then from here though we have a few different images. Since that was a night shot, we can hop into a studio edit and kind of go over that process as well and see what we can do. Studio photos aren't too crazy as far as the editing goes, just because it's pretty clean already straight at camera. But then still there's definitely more to get out of the image, and we can kind of play with different things from here. So yeah, let's actually just hop into this image, and then we'll see kind of what we're doing. So first things first, I see the top, like a softbox was in the actual shot, but yeah, we'll probably just take care of that with Photoshop. We'll go ahead and actually minimize these, take a look at the image. One thing I did in the actual original edit I did this image is change the background color. We just had a red backdrop, and yeah, I obviously don't think this matches really good. Hell yeah, me too, man. Huge fan of the vignettes, man. Like, you just pop that in, especially in a video, you throw like a little like tracking on it with like a nice little vignette, just ooh. I don't know what it is with that, or even like a nice like vignette as far as like, I mean, this is a vertical image, but like, I don't know, I like doing this, inverting that on like a video, or even like this might be clean, you know? I mean, it's a little too crazy, but you know, you get the point. I love those, man. Too clean, too clean. Let's see, let's go ahead and get rid of this. So let's go ahead and actually come in here. We're going to go ahead and actually select the background and see how good of a clean, like of a key we get of this. It's pretty decent, so what we're going to go ahead and actually do is change the hue. I just want to change that just so that way we can just affect and make the background color a complementary color. So we can go ahead and in the jacket we see purple, and we see like a teal. We can come into here and change it more to that teal type, and then from there though we can try to mess with it into pushing it more into this realm. I think it's like what, probably the saturation. Yeah, so like something like that could be a thing, or even just coming into here and switching it to like a purple. Actually, we could even see something else. I think purple is a clean look too. I like that. Yeah, we'll go with purple, and then from here though we do see some issues as far as some of the color in here, around his beard, up here, around the edges, and everywhere else we see some of that red. So we'll have to go through and clean all that up, and just make that more uniform, so that way everything is seamless and it looks like it was shot on an actual purple backdrop. Yeah, I feel like I'm super dehydrated. I'm dying right now. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and actually come in here and up the contrast just a bit of the background. Not too much because we don't want that to fade up the hair, because we don't have an actual separation light on him, so we're kind of losing some of that detail in the back, but we'll kind of make sure we don't push that to that realm. Then from here, we're going to go ahead and actually come in and, where's it at? Dehaze. Change this up a bit. Still same idea, not too much, but we don't want to, you know, lose that whole background. Mess with the clarity. I just want it honestly blurred. That's clean. And then from here, though, we're going to go ahead and come in and add in a brush. There we go. And let's go ahead and actually fix all this and try to get all this added in, so that way we don't see any of those red like little lines around his hair. And this is like a really rough edit right now. I'm going to actually have to go into here and like zoom in and just make sure it's good. But since it's not too crazy, the purple to the red to purple, it actually kind of blends in super well without having to worry about it too much as far as like really finessing it. Because you just want to make sure you don't get, you know, obviously like the clothing or whatever, because you're changing the hue of everything. So we want it to be as clean as possible. But since this is dark too, we're getting away with kind of just a little easier of an edit. Yeah, see, so I got the bandana, so we don't really want that, so we'll have to go through and clean it up as well. So let's go ahead and click off the mask, zoom in. Now that way we can see. We'll hop into here, go back into our brush. Just get the rest of these hairs that are super close in here. Alright, cool. That's cleaned up, get that. It's all about these little details, man. I love photo editing because like you really zoom in, just the detail. I love it. Come and check this. So that's not too bad. We're still going to clean it up just because we want to make sure this is as nice as possible. And obviously we don't pull out any of those reds. Let's see. And we're just coming through and getting as much of the red as possible. Switched over to the purple. And now I'm just looking for anything that catches my eye. There's still this fringing up here that we got to clean up. Now let's go. Alright, come on. There we go. Alright, clean all this up. And right now we're still just trying to get all these red pixels away. It's hitting the hair a little bit, but luckily since it's that dark color against the purple, you can't really tell too much. But these reds definitely are noticeable. And get this back part real quick. Alright, there we go. And we'll zoom out. And so this is what we got so far. Then from here, I want to go ahead and actually just clean up as far as, like, I guess this, since we're in here, I don't think it's that serious as far as like having to take it into Photoshop. So we got a little clone stamp tool. Get that out of there. It looks good to me. I don't see any repeat patterns or anything crazy. So that's clean. Honestly, too, I kind of want to extend the background. We'll hop into Photoshop here in a second. I'll show you guys that process as well. But there's not much that has to be done to this image, just because it was shot in the studio and the lighting was already kind of on point, so there's not much to do. But we'll come into here, we'll add a little bit more contrast, up the highlights a bit, just a little bit, drop the shadows. Actually, no, we're going to raise the shadows a bit. We don't want an image, raise the blacks. Actually, yeah, we'll let the blacks, we'll go for like a really vintage, like kind of grainy, gritty look, you know, for this one. Alright, then what I want to go ahead and actually do is this. This is a technique I kind of similar like to like my DaVinci Resolve highlight recovery hack. Yeah. What's going on, man? Yo, what's up, D Black? Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you in here. Darius. Oh, okay, what's up, Darius? How you doing, fam? Thanks for coming in, man. Appreciate you. How you doing tonight? Hopefully everyone's up to something exciting. What's up, puppy? Let's see. Luminance range. We're going to come in here and we're just going to select the highlights. We're just trying to get as much of just the brightest parts of the image as possible. Something like this. And then we're going to go ahead and see. Then from here, though, I'm just going to go ahead and actually take these highlights back. But not too much because it's not the nicest key. But just a little bit, take the sting out of it. So that way nothing is too bright, you know? And it just looks a little less digital, I guess. And plus we get that bit of that Nike sign back too. Let's see. Alright, and we'll pull this down too, just a bit. Just a bit. Alright, cool. I think that's looking good so far. Next thing I want to go ahead and actually do is come into our HSL. The colors are kind of where I want them to be. I see this red though also. I don't really like the red because I mean, obviously we just changed it. Good, good. Glad you're hitting it good, man. That's good. Get good. That you're good. That's good. So many goods. What you been up to, man? Just chilling, working, grinding. Oh, you're dropping gems. Hey, I try to, man. If you have any questions too while you're in here, feel free to ask. Like I'm here as a open book, so if anybody's in here and has any questions, please ask. Let me pull up my Facebook on here too. Last time I wasn't showing all my Facebook chats and comments. So let's go ahead and actually just make sure that this is good. And I'm not missing any comments. Let's see, all comments. Please ask. Let me pull up my Facebook. Alright, let's see. I'll just leave that here. Alright, so we're going to fix this red. We're not going to do anything too crazy. We're just going to come into here, zoom in. I honestly don't even know what color I want this to be, but we'll worry about that here in a second. All you have to do is just come in here, brush. We're just going to paint onto here and get all the red that's on here so that way we can change this. And right now we're not doing anything just because there's nothing selected. We're just painting on here and it just shows us where we're painting. And then from there though, we're going to go ahead and actually change some things. Make this smaller, get this red as well. Let's see, there we go, get that cleaned up. And then from here we're going to go ahead and actually change the hue. And what we'll do is we'll back up, go back into here, change the hue and just see what looks good. Yeah, nothing looks good. Honestly, it all kind of not my thing. We're going to take the saturation down a bit. And then we're definitely have to go in there and refine it a bit. Maybe purple. Yeah, I guess. That's like the least distracting of them all. But we'll come into here and just add in everything we missed. Now that we have the change. And this will make sure that it shows really, really natural as far as like the color change. And I'm sure there's easier ways to do this, but this is my procedure just going through. And I know it's meticulous, but I like the detail. I like to make sure things are on point. There's still a little bit of fringing around. I try to soften that. Alright, there we go. Clean this up. Clean that up. Alright, and that's good enough. Boom, so we got that changed. Let's see, honestly what we're going to go ahead and actually do is come into here. One easy way of softening skin, and guys I don't really do it too much, but then I'll show you for this example. So we're going here in color range, select the orange parts of the image, and try to refine it as much as possible so that way we can kind of get this cleaned up without affecting the detail of the other parts of the image. So we're going here, mask, there we go, and we're going to go ahead and drop the clarity a bit, and that's just a quick softening tip, and we still maintain all that texture in the face. See, like photos, man, you see everything, man, it's too crazy. But then from here though, you can come into here and just clean this up with a little clone. Alright, clean that up. Not the best cleanup because it's a Lightroom, but gives us a little something. From here, I see the eyes. I kind of want to brighten them up. Luckily, Lightroom's new, I don't know, software updates and stuff, man. It's crazy. So what we can go ahead and actually do is come in here, select people. From here, it's going to detect our person in the scene, and then give us the option to select different features on him. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and actually select the irises and the eye, whatever the fuck, slur or whatever. What's up, guys? Everyone on Facebook, appreciate y'all watching, and also YouTube, thanks for joining. So we're gonna go ahead and actually come into here. Once that's done, create mask, and we're gonna go ahead and actually brighten up the eyes just a bit, but not too much because we don't want it to look unrealistic. Cool. So something like that gives us a little bit more in the eyes. Yeah, just a little bit. There we go. Alright, so what we're going to actually do is come into here. I'm going to go in effects. Some photos, depending on what it is, I like to add grain to it. I'll come in here, usually around like 30 to 40. Then from there it gives us a nice like grittiness throughout the entire image, just some sort of texture. It just looks, yeah, I like the look of it. Let's see, lens corrections, we're going to enable those, get that cleaned up. And then from here we're going to go ahead and actually come into our color grading. From what I'm seeing, a little bit in the blacks, looks a little bit red, so we can go ahead and actually do, or the shadows. Coming in here, we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of the opposite, which is more on the blue side, and we're going to try to neutralize that color in the hair. That way, yeah, it looks a little natural. There we go. Still on the blue side, a little too blue. So we're going to pull it back just a bit. So yeah, it's not off by much, but just a bit. And then from here, we're going to look at the highlights and midtones. Midtones usually fall in the oranges and reds. So we're going to come into here, and I'm actually going to push that more into that warm realm for the midtones, just to pull more out of his skin. And that way we can make it look a little bit more soft, you know. It's more in the pink realm. Let's see. Yeah, so a little bit right here. And what we're doing right now, too, I'm noticing, because we're going back between the green and the pink, and we're seeing a little bit of a shift. So we're just trying to clean it up and also add a little more of that color into it. And from here, we're going to go into highlights. Same idea. We'll pop this up a little bit as far as the saturation in the highlights. And push it into this realm. Yeah, somewhere around there. And I'm looking at all the colors just to make sure everything is balanced correctly. This is a little before and after. Like the most subtle change, but we're just pushing really more warmth into the midtones, and like going back, we're going to pull it back a little bit too. There we go, right about there. Not many other hues I want to change. One thing I do want to go through is come into here. We're going to go ahead and actually create one more mask. Select the person. And then from here we're going to go ahead and select just the outside parts of the eye. Create a mask. And we're going to pull back the saturation on that, and that's going to make the eyes a little bit more white and clear, but we don't want to make it too crazy, because if we pull it all the way out, it just looks a little bit unnatural. And so leaving it right around, like maybe what, minus, yeah, it's like 40, 35-ish, somewhere around there. And that way we clean up all the stuff in the eyes. Yeah, and honestly I think that's good as far as what we want to do with the image. Alright, so next one, we'll look at this one. This is a outdoor session, so this is some off-camera flash, off to her left, and off to my camera right. And then from here, though, exposing for the background, so that way all that detail's there. And this is a super bright day too, so the sun's just beating down in the back, which is acting as a rim light as well. And then from here, though, I just use the flash to fill in, if that makes sense. Trying to stay busy for sure. These are dope. I'll be here until you end. Hell yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Darius. Really means a lot, man. I really appreciate the just the time watching and stuff. If you want to see anything, man, just let me know too. If you have specific photos you want to see edited, or whatever, or anything you guys want to see me kind of break down, let me know too. Alright, so looking at this image, first things first, still I want that to pop more. So we'll mess with the exposure, brighten this up a bit. Not too much, because we don't want to lose the detail on the shirt. Because if we look here, it's already super bright. But what we're going to go and actually do is pull. Actually, no, we're going to do this a different way. So we're going to come into here and select range. Go into luminance, and we're going to go ahead and just select just the brightest parts of the image. Pull this back. We don't really want it to affect our face too much. But just that shirt. The shirt's really just super hot right now as far as just being bright. We want to pull a little bit of that out, just so that way it's not, overly done. Let's see, so we pull back the highlights, and we're recovering all of that information. We don't want to push it too far, but we can push it pretty far and recover lots of that shirt. That way it's not just super bright, and we're getting a lot of that back. Let's see, pull that back maybe even more. Let's see. Alright, so somewhere around there. And I'm just going to have to make sure that, yeah, alright. We'll come into here, pull it back more. And we would love to add more of that shirt. I mean, I guess we could try to, brush it, but then at that point we're doing a lot. And then also we're going to have to clean up her hair as well because it's a little bit frizzy on the end, so I'll show you guys how to clean that up too. And yeah, so I really want to make this look really dope. And shit, honestly, we could even come in here and hop into the Photoshop Creative Field too if we wanted to mess around with that and kind of just show what different results can be done with that too. I think that could be actually pretty fun for this. Let's see, so we'll come into here, let's see. First we're going to add a curve. This is just the one way to add contrast into the image. And then this will kind of get us where we want it to be. I definitely want that faded black look. As far as raising those blacks, we'll add a little bit more contrast. Let's see, somewhere around there. Pop the highlights up to give it like a crazy little pop. And then we'll pull these actual overall highlights down so that way we're creating like a max range that they can go to while creating still pretty nice contrast. I think it's a little bit too much for the faded blacks though, so we're going to pull this back just a little bit. Yeah, it's right about there. Alright, let's see. So we're going to come in here, fix our white balance. I'm going to do this a different way though. So if you come into the color grading tab, this is usually how I like to fix the white balance or kind of add whatever colors I need to. Kind of fix the overall look of the image. Actually, shit, let's do something different, you know? So you come in here, calibration tool. Each camera sees different things as far as like the way the colors are interpreted. This was shot on my Sony a7R IV, and so this is the way the colors are seen on the camera itself. So if it's not correct, or if you want to change the way something actually appears overall and how the camera sees it, you can come into this bottom tab in Lightroom and mess with the calibration tab. From here though, you can actually mess with just how colors are actually done. Obviously, like, you know, you don't want to really push this into too far of an extreme. But you can come into here, and if you don't like the way of a base color, you can start warping that a little bit. And so, like right now, I'm pushing those blues into more of a like a teal realm, while also affecting her skin tones, and pushing it more into like a orange-ish realm. Let's see. Then we're gonna go into here, mess with the saturation or the hue of the reds as well. And right now, what I'm looking at is the skin tones. We want to counteract what we did with the other node and try to balance that a little bit, and just try to make that skin as good as possible as far as where we want it to be. Mess with the green hue, and yeah, still messing with it. So let's see, we're going to come all the way over here and like really push those. Obviously we're messing with the skin tones a lot and pushing those really red, but I'll show you guys how to actually fix that here in a second too. Then from here we're going to add some of that. Let's see. Right now I'm just messing with that background color, not really paying attention too much to the skin. Right now I'm just looking for ways I can make this pop more, and then we'll get more into like our actual color changes here in a second. But right now we're going to go ahead and actually go into fixing the skin. We'll come into here, change the hue of these here in order to make it back correct, and balance those away from the red, probably somewhere around here. Then from here we can go and actually reduce the saturation of the oranges as well. And that'll just make sure it's not too orange for the skin tones. You know, we want that to be really balanced. Next thing I notice is these yellows, so we're going to go ahead and actually mess with the hue of these to push it hopefully more into like a golden yellow. We're also messing with the skin tone as well, so we got to be careful. So yeah, somewhere around there. That's what we're looking at for that. Let's see, we went orange, the greens. Greens we want to actually see with the hue as well, not really too much of a change. I think it's because more of it's in the aqua as well. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and actually push this here. And I'll show you guys what I'm doing too. So right now I'm looking at the actual background and like what changes I'm making, but I don't really like these same blue changes to the pants. So here in a second I'll go through and actually change the pants up so that way I can actually, you know, change these blues differently. I gotta hydrate some water, you know. If you guys have any questions too while you're in here, feel free to ask. Definitely happy to answer anything you guys may have as far as questions about photo editing, video editing business, or really whatever the case is. Let me know. Feel free to drop them. I'll definitely answer to my best ability. Let's see. So looking at the skin still, the skin's not right 100%. We'll pull this back a little bit. Alright, there we go. Change our luminance values. We're going to definitely make the blues brighter because we want this to pop as far as like the background. I want this to pop. Here, it's kind of like leading lines in a sense. We have like a line, a line as far as like the way her arm goes, and then we have her legs, and it's just like line, line, line. You know, as far as like attracting the eye. You know. Let's see. So we're gonna go ahead and back out of here. Color grading, and we're going to fix our shadows. Zooming in, I don't see too much of any wrong color in the shadows, so I think that's pretty accurate, but we're still going to mess with it a little bit, so we'll add some saturation and just play with this. We're going to mess with the hue just to see where we can put this, to see if there's any beneficial colors we want to kind of add into it. This is kind of how I color grade. I'll go through and just see if there's a shade in the shadows, midtones, or highlights that I kind of like. Obviously that's too much, so we're going to kind of pull it back, and I think this is actually, yeah, it's definitely messing with the hair. So like looking at it, it's definitely, there was like lots of pink in it that I didn't actually see until I started switching it, and I think even this is still a bit too much green, so we'll pull it back just a little bit, and right there we're actually evening out the blacks, just so that way the hair is correct and everything is right. Let's see, so it looks a little more still on the pink side overall, so we'll see about coming into here and adding in, let's see, it looks like more greenish yellows, so yeah, definitely more towards the pink side originally. There we go. We're going to pull this back just a little bit. We don't want too much green in there, but just enough to make sure that we're actually making a change. Then from here we're going to go actually grab our highlights and mess with this as well. This one though, I don't know if I actually want to add anything, maybe a little bit more on that side too. Yeah, just overall it was definitely more on the pink side. And so right there we were able to counteract it and push it more, you know, green into the image overall. Even this still, I want to pull it back just a little bit, just so it's not too much, but you guys can see a little bit before and after, and fixing that, and that helps bring our whites to white and our black points to black points, and that way everything looks really, really clean. Alright, so next thing I'm going to go ahead and actually do is create a mask. We're going to go ahead and actually select the background. And this is just going to help us create some separation as far as what we're doing, like, you know, between the subject and the background. I'm not sure if I want to affect the bottom too. Let's see. Oh yeah, so we're going to pull that back just a bit. And since this is off-camera flash as well, she's already brighter than the background, so we don't want to push it too much, but then just enough to make sure that we can, you know, actually influence it and make it look a little bit more poppy, you know. But then from here, we're going to go ahead and actually add more contrast. We're just going to like really, really up it, move the exposure, because the contrast did change that actual exposure value too. There we go, and then we're going to go ahead and actually see about removing some clarity as well from the background, but not too much because there is lots around the crown. So a little before and after. I kind of like the contrast boost, contrast boost in the background, just because it actually makes it look more gritty with the graffiti. So we'll let that ride, and then also we're going to come in here and just raise the shadows a bit of that background, just so that way it's not as crushed. There we go, somewhere around there, so before and after of the background change. Then I want to change, I mean, it's an orange string, that's not too bad, but like I mentioned before, I kind of want to change the actual pants. We could do this in Photoshop, or we could do this here. We'll see how this works here, and then we might have to go into Photoshop to see about actually making the rest of the changes. Let's see. Alright, we're just going to do this really rough, and then we'll come back and clean it up if we actually like the change. I just want to see this first. You know, we're just going to select the string as well. We'll get some of our arms in there and everything as well. But yeah, it shouldn't matter too much. Alright, perfect. So we got that, and then from here we're going to mess with the hue and just see if there's another pant color or something that actually looks more complementary. Yeah, see, and already right here we're pushing those pants more into a regular blue round, as far as like regular blue jeans go, and then that way it makes the background's teal color pop just a little bit more. But I do not like the changes on the strings, so what we'll go ahead and actually do is come into here, zoom in a bit more, and we're going to subtract that change, so that way it's just on the pants, not the strings. What's going on? Subtract. Brush. Alright, there we go. Come through, and we're just going to make sure that these strings are unaffected, and then the orange should look a little bit better too against these pants. now that we changed the actual blue hue of it back to like a regular blue jeans. Right now I'm doing this with my mouse right now, so forgive the sloppiness. This is usually use like a pad or whatever, but I don't really have it plugged in at the moment, so we're just gonna have to use the mouse. I mean, I'm sure you can come in here and select like a color range, but then honestly I'm not sure how good it would pick it out because it's, you know, skin tones are super close, so we don't want to blend that in together, you know, and like kind of just make it the same. Let's see, so there we go. Alright, this isn't the best tune. Obviously I could spend more time on this making clean, but from there, boom, we got the orange back. Now with the pant color change, the orange isn't too bad. It helps still bring it out. I mean, I guess we could maybe change it to like a blue hue too, and that might help pop it, but then since we have the orange in the eyelids, and then also orange here kind of works. Alright, so next thing I want to go ahead and actually do is, let's see, we have our curves. We'll come in here, we'll add our detail, just kind of crank that, and then from here though I go into masking, and I will mask that into Oblivion, so that way it's only affecting bits of the actual image and not the entirety. Noise-wise is fine. Lens correction, we will fix this. And then honestly, there's some more stuff I want to do to this image, but I think I'm going to take it into Photoshop, and that way we can kind of play with it and see what else we can do with it, because we can also mess with that Photoshop generative fill. It's a whole AI technology that kind of helps. I don't know, it just puts random things in your image, but then from there though, I don't want to really do anything as far as changing it. I just want to kind of expand it and make it like maybe like a horizontal image and see what it can do with just giving us more of an image to work with, you know. Let's see, so I think that's pretty much it. Effects, I'm not going to add grain just yet because I don't want to mess up this image just yet. So yeah, that's good. So let me go ahead and actually switch this over real quick, and we're going to go ahead and get into Photoshop. How's everyone's night going? I'm not sure who's in here, but how's everyone's night going? Anyone up to anything exciting? Or does anyone have any questions while we wait for this to open? If you guys have any questions, photo video wise, let me know. I'll be happy to answer them. And yeah, so that way I can see if I can teach you guys something new tonight. If you guys have learned something, yeah, just, I don't know, drop a fire emoji or something, you know, if you've learned something useful, or if you guys like the vibe, you know, that's cool. Maybe we can try to get some music in here sometime or something. And yeah, let's see. Alright, when it's going to work, because the communication between Photoshop and Lightroom has been kind of terrible lately. But that could just be me with two versions of Photoshop now, so the beta and the whatever. So we'll see, this opens nice, and it opened up quick. Alright, let's switch it over. Alright, so now we're in Photoshop, guys. So first things first, what I want to go ahead and actually do is just clean up the hair. Honestly, Photoshop just added this tool. It's called the Remove tool. This is it, yeah, Remove tool. We're going to try to see how this works. Usually I would come into here and I would just clone stamp the edges. I would just kind of like clone stamp and try to meticulously just get that right. But we're going to see what this tool can do and just see if it can like fix all this troublesome hair around here. Ooh, come on, that's clean, that's so nice. Usually this would take so long and the results are kind of unsatisfactory. But this tool is super dope. You kind of just go around the edges. You do really want to keep some of the actual old part of it in, just so that way I can kind of tell what's supposed to be there and what's not. But it does a pretty good job just trying to figure out what's not actually supposed to be in the image of its own. I mean, you kind of have to go over it a couple of times. I should be doing this non-destructively as well. I should have clicked it already as far as making a duplicated layer, just so that way I don't destroy the image and can't, you know, fix what I've already changed. And so right now we're just going over this a few times, just trying to see if we can get it to take it out. Yeah, it gives some wonky results, but we'll slowly get there, and even that's kind of weird, so we're going to have to fix that a bit. Yeah, maybe not. So let's go ahead and actually undo that. Let's see, just a bit, because we don't want to lose that, but we want to maybe do it the other way. Let's see, alright, for this one, probably we'll just use a clone stamp, just so we can get like actual control over it. So now we're in a clone stamp. We're going to sample something really close and just slowly go through. And with the clone stamp, what you're doing is you're sampling an actual area, and then when you sample that, it's going to pretty much just copy those pixels over to wherever you brush them. And with doing this, we're able to clone the parts next to the image that we do want in the image, and then of course just kind of put that over what we don't want in the image. So this will kind of come through and just go really gently around. And right now we're just trying to clean up all this loose hair because it just looks crazy as far as like with the way the sun's hitting it. You know, we don't really want that there. Let's see. Whoops. Alright. And this is the slow way. If that remove tool could have worked just good, we wouldn't have to do all this. But I'll show you guys kind of how we're doing it, and then we might have to clean it up a little bit more, but I'll show you guys how to make sure that this looks really, really seamless as well when you're doing this. So boom, so we get that, and still I'm not on the right layer, so we're going to go ahead and actually just create that now. Then from here we're going to go ahead and come into the remove tool, and we're just going to go over a little bit of these edges just to try to help make it a little bit more seamless. Okay, I don't know what it's doing. Gotta love it. Alright, so let's try to see. Okay. So we're just going over like all these like little imperfections real quick, just to see if we can make them look more natural and it blends in with the background more. That's okay. I mean, it's kind of painty back there anyway, but we'll just leave it like that. Then from here though, what I want to go and actually do is see, I guess, if we can actually expand the image. So come into here, let's say I want to make this into a 16:9. This is using Photoshop Generative Fill AI to actually extend the background. So what we're going to go ahead and actually do, what do you think? You just click OK, on Generative Expand. And then from here it's going to try to figure out what should be here and what should be here and just generate more of the image so that we can turn this vertical image into a horizontal image. And then from there though we could go super AI wacky and add a bunch of crazy stuff into it. But for this sake I don't want to do that. We just want to see what it does for the image. Let's see, as far as the expand goes at least. If it loads ever. No, did it just crash? Did it crash? Gotta love Photoshop, right? Just trying to get this to work. Yeah, I think it like froze or something. Let's Control Alt delete it. Let's see. Whoa. Okay, this thing is tripping right now. Bear with me, guys. I'm about to get this back on. It's just doing something. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, come on. Alright, this thing is super frozen at the moment. Yeah, no, it says it's fine, but then it's not fine. Dang, see, you gotta love Photoshop, right? When things just don't work. Alright, we're just going to close it down, and then I'll reopen it. It's just part of working, I swear. What's everyone's like worst crash story, man? Like, what's a time where you guys have been editing for so long and your shit just crashed on you? You know, like, what's the time? I would love to hear some stories like that in the comments. It could be like an image, it could be like a whole video project. I remember one time I was doing, what was this, dude? It was, I think it was a music video. Yeah, it was a music video because there was a bunch of effects and stuff. I was editing this whole music video. I sat there working on it for so long before I even really did this for a living. It was more of just a side project at the time. And yeah, I think I was like 40 or 50 minutes deep into that edit, and then from there though the project crashed. I was in Adobe Premiere at the time. Crashed, lost all that time, and then yeah, the music video never came out the same as far as how it actually looked when it was done. It was like a whole different thing when I actually had to recreate it. Alright, let's try this again. So we'll do Photoshop. Damn, everything just wants to run slow. Run slow, run slow. Alright, it's almost done. In the meantime, let's see. No, because I can't. Let's see. Beta. Okay. Alright, let's try this again, guys. So I'm going to be opening up Photoshop back up just so that we can go ahead and see if we can finish off this image in there. I really just want to see what I can do as far as expanding the image into like a 16 by 9 or like just a more horizontal type of image, you know, like a desktop type of image, you know. Let's see, so we'll go ahead and actually come in here, right click, edit in Photoshop, see if we can get this to come up. There we go. Alright, switching back over so what you guys can see. There we go. Alright, so I guess let's just do this first things first, just to see. Let's see. So I'm going to expand this. Expand. I think that's why it crashed, honestly. But I want to put her in the thirds of the image and see if it can create more that way. So, okay. And yeah, hopefully it doesn't crash. But right now we're just trying to extend it into a horizontal type of image, you know, because obviously I didn't shoot it that way. I shot it vertically. So yeah, we're going to see if we can actually add in more background, more flavor into the image. I mean, with that, there's lots we could do, honestly. As far as like photoshopping stuff, this was like an album cover. We can do more with it. We can make it more of a square ratio. Yeah, so hopefully this doesn't crash this time again, and we can get the actual image and continue editing it. Let's see. Get some water. Okay. Interesting. So it kind of did it, but this is super ugly. Let's see if we have other options. Cause it's funny because it can't really create the art. And like over here, I put like a skateboard over here. That's funny. But yeah, we're going to go through. It gives you 3 options, and then from there you can generate more. But we're going to go ahead and see if there's any like... This shit just looks weird. Alright. I don't think it's going to work. It looks like it can't create more of this beautiful art from this artist. It's just struggling. So... I mean, we could generate more. Maybe this one. Let's see. So graffiti walls and the sidewalk. Alright, see what results we get from this and see if we can make anything workable. If not, we're just going to keep this a vertical image and keep it moving as far as this stuff goes. Because it's kind of cool, but then the biggest thing is consistency. It's just terrible at creating stuff consistently. And that's what I think I struggle with most from this type of tool. But outside that's pretty fun. If it's not this type of art stuff, you know. It's pretty fun. You can get some cool results. And then it puts some people. Or like, you know, people, AI people. They're watching. Oh, I'm struggling. Okay. I mean, kind of. I mean, you can go through and Photoshop it and clean it up. All this isn't really impressing me, though. I don't really like any of them. I wish it would just give me like a sidewalk and cut the building. But you could honestly even maybe like try to like cut the building here and then just continue the sidewalk into like, I don't know, something, or add in like a car or whatever. But I don't think anything is going to work. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I mean, mine is like over here, you'd have to, you know, obviously clean it up. But this one blended it a little bit more, and then just the trash and shit. So actually, you know, we're going to mess with it. We're just going to keep this and see what we can do with it. Yeah, I guess just mess with the image. Let's see. So we're going to go ahead and come into here. We're going to merge down, or do I want to... Yeah, we'll just merge down. Or actually, what we're going to do... Let's see, delete these other ones. I want to create a couple more variations from this one just to see if we can get anything better that's not as trashy or whatever, you know? But then obviously this whole background is just blah. It's just terrible. It's just AI gibberish kind of in a way. So we're just deleting all the extra ones right now because we're not going to actually use these. And see if we can generate one more result just to see what else we can get. Yeah. Super slow. Alright, fuck it. Let's just continue. I think this is a different one. I accidentally clicked the wrong thing and now it's loading. Give me a second. Alright. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Whoa. That one looks weird. It's all mushy. I mean, I kind of like it though. I mean, minus like this part's not blended at all. And then I don't know what it's doing with this side of the image, but maybe we could try to recorrect that or redo something. Which one was it? This one? Dang, I clicked the wrong one again. Alright, let's check it back to this one. Alright, so let's go ahead and actually generate one more time just to see what other results we can get from this and see if we actually want to use those instead. But most of this is just going to be, I'm just really going to darken it, put it all into just a blurrier nature, and yeah, just make it hopefully not as recognizable and people can't see that this is just gibberish. Just gibberish in the background. And still, like over here, I don't know what it's doing. Taking forever, taking forever. Let's go, let's go. Watch, and then it's gonna crash on me or some shit again. Alright, you know what, this is, alright. We're just not gonna do it, it's taking too long. And let's see, alright, let's just delete this. Let's see, let's go back to our regular crop. So our original ratio, the original ratio, right? Nope. Let's see, ratio. Alright, we're going to go back. Alright, there we go. So back to our start. Let's go ahead and just duplicate this. Exit, come on. Get that back in there. And so we will try to expand this somehow in the future, but then we'll get there when we get there. Let's see. So first things first, what we're going to actually do is just clean up the image. We'll come into here for the remove tool. If it can show me it. Okay, what are we doing? Computer's like super froze or something. Okay, could not complete request because of a program error. Nice. Alright. Photoshop. Anyways, let's see. Why is it not? Oh, remove tool. Okay. What is it doing, dude? Yeah, remove tool is bugging, dude. Bugging. Alright, let's see. Let's just use the patch tool. Patch tool is a good tool I use for cleaning up images most times too. You can select what you want, drag it to a different area, and it's going to resample that area. So we're just going to come through and just drag what we don't want into what we do want by just mixing in different parts of the image as far as like what's around it. We're just looking for imperfections. Obviously it's the concrete, so it's not too serious if it's like super smooth. But then from here though, what you can do is just look at the rest of the image just to see what else you want to clean up. So we see like little blotches on the skin, so one thing we can come in and do is a spot healing. I can't see my, that's an issue, I can't see my thing. Alright, so we're just going to use the patch tool yet again. Come into here and, okay. Just to clean this up. Could not patch command. Nice, alright. Don't know what it's trying to do right now. So I don't have enough RAM. Interesting. Alright, let's just do something different. Let's just hop back into regular Photoshop, not the beta. I think that's an issue currently. So let's just exit out of here, hop into regular Photoshop, not the beta version, and hopefully we'll get less issues as far as how the software is working for us. But yeah, who's in here with me right now? What's everyone up to? How's everyone's night going? If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I am here to help you guys learn. Let's see. Alright, if this other Photoshop will open, there we go. Alright, there we go. So let's just open this image back into regular Photoshop, not the beta. And once this switches over, I'll switch it back over for you guys so you guys can see. And I'll show you guys how I retouch this image and how I get it to the point where I'm happy with it. And that involves cleaning up the hair. We'll go through and clean up the sidewalk or whatever and see what else we can add into the image as far as like glows or like blurs or whatever the case is. And just try to make it pop as much as possible. And that's always the goal, and just make it look as clean as possible too. And then yeah, Photoshop just doesn't want to work really. It's great. Love it when the technology works right. Love it, I love it. Let's see. Alright. Guess in the meantime, man, let's just hop into something else. Let's see. Let's go through and look at some of my previous music videos. Let's see. So what my channel videos, let's see. Alright, so let's pull this up here so you guys can see. Okay. Alright, so we're coming to here, we're going into our YouTube studio. Let's see, content. And then from here we have a bunch of music videos. Let's see, what do you guys want to see me, I guess, review or look over? Shit, let's pull this one out. This one's a pretty good one. Let's see. I wonder if you guys can get audio. Because what's coming from the computer. Huh. Let's see. Yeah, can you guys hear me decently? Let's see. Yeah, I think it's on a different audio track. That's funny. My bad, guys. I'm hooked up to like some terrible audio right now, so I'm not even quite sure where the audio is coming from. Let's see. So how can I get this into? Let's see. I think it's just through audio. HDMI 1. Let's see. Alright, I don't know if you guys can hear the audio from the computer or not. If you guys can, let me know. Yeah, I need to figure this out. Sorry guys, I thought I could get this to work right, but I don't even know, honestly, how to get this audio into the computer, from the computer into the actual live stream itself. Let's see, because it should be HDMI 1. Let's see, is it 2? Yeah, that's 1. Alright. Alright, so this song was called Day In and Day Out. The homie Stormy Justice and I put this together. He kind of had the majority of the concept. You'll see it like here in a second, like we actually were inside Raw Photograph, or not Raw Photographic Studio, what was that? Void Studios, I'm actually pretty sure it was called. But for that one, we were able to come into here. He actually came in ahead of time, set up the clocks. And then from there, though, once the clocks were set up, we set up the couch in this whole side, and along with the dartboard and stuff. And then from there, though, I was able to go through with him and get the best angles, rearrange different things. So like for this one, I will go back into this shot here. So we had the chess table, and we wanted a cloning effect. So we knew from the beginning that we wanted to have it kind of take place in his head. That's what's happening with this part, going into his head. And then from here, we're able to have it two different versions of himself, kind of talking to himself. Yeah. So split effect, literally just a camera on a tripod, shot 2 different times. We ended up shooting like a lot of different actual like reactive scenes of him reacting, of just like saying nothing, I think, on this side. And then different times of him actually rapping the song in each outfit. And then from there, though, I just went through and cut the frame right down the middle here, blended it so that way, like, you know, you can't really tell the difference. And then from there, though, just time the shots differently, and then just create like a compound clip so that way I can zoom in and out of it to make it more believable, I guess, as far as like the actual shot goes. But then like it's funny because like sometimes you can see like the eyes don't match up exactly. Yeah, it's just funny. Prop shots, some people on the walls, and then from here, though, I really like this shot here. I kind of had the table at a like a Hold on, there we go. So the table had more of like a slant, like a diagonal, so that way it was like more of like a diamond towards me. Then with it being a diamond, I just shot kind of this way. It was all handheld on a very wide angle lens, and I was just kind of moving the camera in and out to give it like motion, and it just adds to it, with a really nice top-down light on them as well. And then obviously just adding props into a music video, like a table, like something to refer to, it just helps out with keeping momentum in the video. This shot, we had a desk that was in the actual studio we were shooting at, so I really wanted to incorporate that. Obviously with every single music video I try to do unique angles, and with this one it was a wide angle lens on the ground on the Ronin. Then from there though I was moving my phone too to kind of give it some motion into the frame, so that way it wasn't just a stagnant shot, and it kind of added to it. I was trying to move with the music, but I think with this one I was actually kind of moving it a little slower and more cinematic. Same with this one, gimbal on the floor. I was moving my phone with the remote control with the DJI RS2, I think it is, yeah, RS2, to give it that motion. Just downtown Denver-ish, getting some shots. This shot, little breakdown. As you can see, there's like this extra light kind of hitting the actual background, and then also being lit from the top. So I have one light above him, giving him that light as far as right here goes, and then my P300C in the back with a strobe effect, kind of just going off with like a paparazzi, like bright light kind of effect. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Those are the only two lights in that scene. And then this one's simple, mirror, light in the background, same light flashing to keep consistency's sake, and then that same top-down light more off to his shoulder rather than the front, which I actually look back on it now to make this shot better. I would definitely try to put a light above him, in front of the mirror, or yeah, so in between him and the mirror, just so that way the light hits his face more. The brightest part of the image is no longer his shoulder and the wall, but it's more so his face, and that would pull more attention to there, but we just had limited time, so we were trying to work fast. Most of these lighting setups are the same. We shot some stuff on a, what's it called, Train 2. Yeah. There we go. And then so halfway through the song, I actually did switch it up. So I like to go through music videos, and I like to get a lot of different shots. And then from there though, rather than just showing everything I can, everything that we've taken throughout the whole video shoot, like in the first minute, I try to do segments. So now introducing a, the second second verse, my bad. Second verse, we have a different angle completely, a couple different angles that we can actually work with. So we have this top-down couch shot, same kind of idea, lighting top-down here with the P300C flashing that paparazzi in the background too. More train shots, and this is him in the regular world, him in his mind still kind of doing his thing. But adding in this shot just gives a little bit more something different to look at, and just kind of helps increase variety. Let's see. Alright, let's go ahead and look at a different video. See what we can break down from here. Ooh, let's do this one. Let's see. I can't remember if this even dropped yet. Never mind. Let's not. I can't remember if it's dropped yet or not. Let's see. Alright, let's check this one out actually. So this is a artist here in the Springs, Parkside Plugs. He actually won this music video giveaway. So he actually won his music video, and this is what we shot for his song. So we didn't really have much time. This was like, I think, just a 2-hour shoot. So from here, I only had one location to work with, which was his apartment. And then from there, though, we were going to shoot outside and like some skate shots, but we just didn't end up doing it. The song's only 2.5 minutes, so it's not too long. So you don't miss out on too much. So this first shot, we have him walking over to the bathroom mirror. We'll go back a little bit. So in the closet, I have my P300C just blasting blue here. I have the regular orange tungsten bulbs from the bathroom that doesn't change. Just the white balance was set to something around, I want to say 5600 daylight, which will make these bulbs pretty orange. And then from there, I just dial in the blue that I want. And just having him walk up, doing a motion to the sink. Same idea, same light as far as like what was in that shot hitting him. And so we have different detail shots, and I'm trying to go with the actual flow of the actual song. So like it has like these like, and just different like little beats to it, that I really wanted to emphasize. So I went through and actually created a bunch of a bunch of beats, I guess, or like there's different like what was it? Like red and blue filters, I think it was, on these shots. Yeah, so right here, so I went through and just blurred a lot as far as like creating like a blur for an effect, some sort of like zoom blur, and then also the red and blue, and I would alternate that. And so that way it's going from red to blue really, really quickly. Whoops, and I clicked off it. Nice. Let's see, alright. Yeah, so with that red and blue, and so it gives a nice like effect to it, you know? And that's just me going through alternating red and blue, and then from there though, if you match that up with the music, it does like a really cool effect, but you don't want to use it too much because it can kind of get like boring. This part I actually masked him out. I got him to pop up more of a drawn figure, and then he kind of glitches into his real self. Same idea as the bathroom shot, same lighting setup. Love this shot. So we have lots of natural light coming in from the window, which is giving him this light here. Then from here I have the P300C back on the wall here, and then also a little bit on his side that I couldn't help spill on him. But for the most part, the light's just kind of going towards the wall to add that color and a separation. If I had one more light or like one more stand I can kind of hide somewhere, I'd probably put another light behind him up above his head to just give him a nice glowy rim light, and that would help separate him from the background a lot more, and then also help brighten him up to compete with the bright window. And maybe even add in some more light of my own. That way I didn't have to lose all this detail in the curtain. Alright, so nice little top-down angle, just something different to look at while I cycle through these different shots. That same effect I did earlier as far as the red and the blue goes, with the switching off back and forth, and then from there also adding in the blurs and stuff too. Lots of detail shots. In music videos, you just want like a plethora of different types of shots as far as actions go. If there's a prop, like so for instance this one, it's a notebook or whatever, I really had the idea of, originally like the actual title screen was going to be him writing it down. It's like him kind of creating the song or writing it as he goes through this day in his life. And it's him actually making the music as he goes through this actual song. So pretty much is a music video of the creation of the song. But then yeah, so I have him writing as B-roll, and then some other stuff as far as like him, washing his face, just anything that you can do to just get action that you can go through and actually add in as different shots rather than just performance. You add in B-roll, and that way you have something else to give the viewer to watch. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much this entire video. Some more detailed shots, but like more of the same. 2.5 minute song, so we didn't do too much as far as different locations. I do think it would have benefited from another location, just so that way like maybe mid through, like we could have made this whole intro part more crazy as far as like the beat goes, and then from there though, boom, it transitions into something completely new, with him like skateboarding down the street or something, and it just gives it a whole different look. But yeah, so that's that video. Let's go ahead and see what else we got. We can go over as our last video. If you guys have any questions before we get off to, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to help you guys with any questions that you may have. This video, love this one. This is the homie Lottie Scotty for his song called Bad. This was shot in the red Komodo, and then DJI Phantom 4 Pro for the drone stuff. And so for this shot, I had a top-down light in the studio, so like the whole white backdrop as far as that goes. I had a light top-down here to give him, and once again, as I mentioned before, I would definitely add in another light if I think it was just a time thing. We didn't have much time in the studio here, so if I could change it a little bit in this shot here with as far as like a lighting change, I would definitely add in a rim light to just kind of put back here, off to his back left, my right side, camera right, and then just to blast him, so that way it gives him like a nice halo effect. It makes it pop from the background more. But I do have this light going off in the background. There we go. This one, which is the P300C, that's hitting the backdrop and like a more of a paparazzi type of lightning effect. And that kind of gives that separation too, but only when it's on, Then this is a mixture of green screen footage, so this is actually him against a green screen with chromatic aberration on him as an effect, and then it's also animated to move to the side with different shots and detailed shots of his jersey, so that way it's like a double kind of exposure, but just like a double shot in one while it kind of warms up with some particles over it. Same idea, just the opposite way within the shot, and it kind of wipes it away. And so with the song, it was a very chill song, like starting off or whatever with the piano, but you could feel that tension building and building and building. And so like right when it kind of hits, I had somebody else in the background hit my light to go off and create that lighting effect right as the beat dropped, and then that creates it in the video itself, and so that way we get something like pepper, like boom, and it hits whatever. And then so I really wanted to keep that motion, so right when that is done, what I've been doing on the Red Komodo is more digital punch-ins. So I'll have my shot, and I will zoom in and zoom out with motion blur as far as a transform node goes, or a transform effect. Then from there, though, I will get like cool, like little animated effects. And then this shot, I couldn't resist. We were just walking the streets, and there was this truck with graffiti on it that's just been pretty much abandoned or whatever. And so I had him on the side, holding the railing, and this jacket, just because it is gold or whatever, and lots of halation as well, makes the highlights kind of pop more. And with the gold shoes, love it. I mean, probably looking back on it, I might change the grade up a little bit and change a little bit of greens out the highlights just to make it look a little bit different. But I definitely want to go back and revisit these shots for, I guess, just a different color grade. Alright, and some more transitions as far as like the animations go. And so it's all about trying to match the actual energy of the song. Just trying to add in different motions and different movements, so that way everything is kind of just engaging and just tries to keep that viewer's attention as much as possible. And with it too, we're changing up the scenes. So like boom, that's like the first minute, and then boom, we're showing something new a minute into it, and just completely new scenes for them to experience along with the old ones. And that's when you can kind of get into the remaining of the old shots and transition into some new stuff. And then boom, so new verse kicks in, and we're in a whole different location as far as it goes, more of the beginning, but back into something different, just so that way it's not the same thing throughout the entire video. We're giving something different throughout the entire thing, you know? But yeah, we got slow motion. We got this shot here. So with that, I literally just had a sniper scope, PNG. Then from there, though, I just tracked his fingers to move it. So from his head to his fingers, and it kind of just moves with him. And it kind of adds that more dynamic flow to it as well. And then lots of these car shots we have. Let's see if I get a wide shot. So the P300C in the background, just smacking purple against it. Then from there we have the top-down light on here. And then probably going back, I would still add a third light somewhere over here with like a spotlight attachment, just to give him that rim light. I would probably do as well, just to make it pop more and look more premium when that purple's off. Alright, so same idea. You can see the softbox here as well. So top-down light, just to give him that. Once again, I would definitely add a third light to the back, since I have the P300C, or even the P300C with the purple, just to blast it towards this way, with maybe some sort of like top-down rim light on him as well, rather than the front of the car. I'd probably change or something. And then here, so now we have more green screen, just duplicated with a chromatic aberration, and then another regular version of him with green screen with some fire behind him with particles, and turned purple just to match the hoodie and the theme of the video. Nice. And so yeah, that's pretty much that. Alright, cool. So yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate you guys coming out. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments, or comments or messages if you guys have anything. Also, feel free to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, please. It would greatly help out. And yeah, thanks guys for watching. Appreciate that. And stay tuned for the next one. I will be live. I think we're doing Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays now, I believe. Every day, so 3 days a week. Yeah, live streams. So if you guys have anything you want to see, if you guys want to see specific tutorials too for anything, let me know. And yeah, be happy to do that. Let's switch over to the full cam. But yeah, thanks guys so much for watching. I do appreciate that. You guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you.